So, the new Kindle Fire's out. Is it worth the upgrade? Let's take a look. This is Mark from GearDiary, and here I have, let me flip it back on, the new 2013 edition Kindle Fire HDX 7-inch version, and I also have got the origami cover. And I actually have some music playing. That's one of the interesting things going on. So why don't I just start with the origami cover? And so we'll start by, this comes out easily, Kindle Fire HD. So the origami cover itself looks fairly unremarkable. It has places where you would press through for your volume and power buttons, and then there's this floppy thing going on here. The interesting thing is it's all magnetic. So rather than having to snap in a case, you just kind of take this and of course, now when you put it in correctly, it snaps right in. Now I'm not sure if you can hear this, and let me see if I can turn it up to get the effect. So we've got the music playing. Now when I take this out, we'll see if you can, it's hard to distinguish. But what happens is there's actually a separation here. So when you snap this in place and you're using it and you have it right in front of you, you actually get some nice reflected sound back off of this. I thought it was odd because I'm seeing this separation. I'm thinking, what's up with this? It's just crappy design. Actually, it's a smart design that takes and utilizes the speakers that are up off the back here and makes the use of it that way. Now, before I go any further, since I'm on the subject of music, why don't I, let's just see. Unfortunately, you don't have lock screen controls, but I'm going to pause that. And here I have last year's Kindle Fire. And I can just go ahead and, it's one thing you might notice already is that it was slower to respond to me, slower to start up. So it definitely is not. Now this is some Skrillex. Now there's just no comparison on either the quality or the volume. It's going to be interesting to see how it comes across on the video, but for me in the room, there's at least a factor of 2. There's like a 10 dB difference between these two. And so that's a huge difference to begin with. The other thing is that I noticed right away as I was doing this, I was opening back up. My wife is reading a book in here called One Way Bridge. It's a recent release that we were both reading. And it took a few seconds. Everything takes a little bit longer. And at first I didn't notice, but now that I've been using this since Friday, suddenly going back over to that Fire is, it's definitely noticeable. So now if you take a look at these two, you can see that the old one, and they're both encased, is bigger. Now a couple things, and it's also about the same in terms of thickness, maybe just a little bit thicker, and it's definitely noticeably heavier, despite the fact that this actually has magnets in it. The screen in this is amazing, as you would know. It's if you've read anything about it, and you'll see it in my review as well. It's an excellent screen, high def. The system itself is incredibly responsive. It's really makes use of all the processor speed that they've thrown at it. And everything happens like instantly on it. So it's a very high performance system. I'm very pleased with that. Origami cover, may as well come back to that at this point. So just take it from the back and you've got that fold system. It magnetically snaps together here. snaps to the back, and suddenly you've got something that's a stand. So I take it, I can put it back down, and it just stands there and holds up. And so what I've been doing for using it, because I don't like typing on these screen keyboards, is I've got a Bluetooth Logitech keyboard, and I use that. Now, aside from the old Kindle Fire, which again, this is considerably faster, much better screen, sound is not as good, but in general it's a solid update. One of my big complaints from last year's was the buttons. So this one you've got kind of touchy-feely buttons that you can check out on either side for volume and power. But now let's go to kind of the king here, which would be the iPad mini. So again, if we compare the two, there's an immediately noticeable difference in the screen size and how much content is here. So I've been playing around, I've been trying to use the Kindle Fire for my productivity, whereas I'd normally use the iPad, and I definitely notice a difference. It's more cramped, it's harder getting things done, and actually what I've mentioned a couple times to people is what I really notice is how far behind the Android apps are. Facebook, WordPress, things like that are all noticeably inferior at this point to what you get on iOS. And I was surprised at that, just how distinct the difference was. Overall, I'm happy with this. And of course, you know, the question always comes down to, is this staying? Is this going to be one that I'm going to hang on to? And the answer is yes. I actually like it quite a bit. It fits nicely in the bag. I love the origami thing. I wasn't so sure to begin with. It's interesting when it showed up, and it may show a little bit. The way they have it displayed is you see across this upper triangle, and then it's kind of masked that way. And there's a differential in the appearance, but that over the course of a couple of days has gone away. I've really gotten used to using this. It keeps it really well protected without adding too much bulk, or at least nothing that I consider to be problematic. So Kindle Fire HDX 7-inch, it's a good system. One more thing though, that let's see if where can I notice it? Let me get into it, pop into a book, and this I don't know if it'll come through. Little blue edge all along the sides, and that comes from color reproduction, according to Amazon anyway. So it's the way that the lighting goes, and that tint on the very edges is related to how they're reproducing color accurately. I don't know if that's true or not. That's their story, and they're sticking to it. And this is Kindle Fire HDX 2013, and I'm sticking with this one. It's Mark and Gear Diary. Thanks for watching.